change there. There's been talks about the NIL stuff quite a bit. If you could make one change in college football,
Having a guy that is older and experienced is huge.
Well, I would have to decide how to manage. I wouldn't know what to do because we need transparency and some type of parameters on NIL. And then we need to be able to have a fair window for the portal. Those two things need to happen, in my opinion. They're not happening right now. They're not going to happen until the 23 season. And with the election year coming up, I don't think it'll happen during the 24 season. It might be 25, but I would have to take, those are the two things. And it's not to benefit anybody more than the other. It's just so we have some idea of what direction everybody's going.
With all the changes in the sport, how have you had to adapt as a committee?
One, you don't take anything personal. So when the transferring started a few years ago, it used to like really bother me because I took it personal. Then I realize now people transfer to transfer. They put their name in the portal. Some of them maybe to see marketability. So that was the first thing. The second thing is don't let anything surprise me and don't get caught off guard. I won't get caught off guard again or be surprised because nothing is going to surprise me anymore with what happens. I think those two things give you a chance to overcome the instability in roster management.
Do you have to be more nimble in learning to replace your roster with the volatility that's there? How do you push that?
You know, it's portal recruiting, so you get two wideouts go out, you got to try to bring two in. One of them's a freshman and one of them's a junior. You try to bring a junior in and a freshman in. If not, I can't lose a sophomore and a junior. I could have, but I don't think it's good. Bring two freshmen in, I have no majority at that position. So, Oklahoma State, we've always brought in young people and developed them. Now, the concern is are we developing them for us or somebody else?
Do you think that's sustainable in the future? Just a culture program where you develop?
For us?
For anybody?
I don't have that answer. We don't have a choice but to try to make it. Do I think it's feasible and will there be direction? No. And I think the most difficult job now in all of college athletics is going to be for the athletic director. Because you could have coaches at a school that have a bad run on the portal and have a bad year or two. And then as an athletic director, I have to make a decision. Am I getting rid of him because he had a bad year or two, or did he have a bad run on the portal and he's really a good football coach? So I think it's going to be extremely difficult, and particularly with new coaches that are just getting in. So if you're a second or third year coach and you have a couple decent years, then you have a portal hit and you have 2 bad years, the athletic director is going to have to decide because of the criticism he might be receiving from social media or fans what to do about this coach. How do you know? That's what I think is going to be the most difficult.
How mindful do you have to be about the portal and the realities of it when you're recruiting high school players who, you know, in the past, whoever won the recruiting battle initially is going to have them for 4 or 5 years. Now, it might give you a leg up 2 years later when they transfer or whatever.
Yeah, so when you recruit, like the graduating class of 22 and the graduating class of 23, those high school players got cheated. There's a good number of those players that didn't get scholarships, not just at our level, but maybe just a level below, because everybody was portal recruiting, and you had the COVID year. So you had a pool of players to recruit, so the 22 grads and the 23 grads got under-recruited. And in recruiting now, you might be recruiting a player and lose him, and then you might get him the next year. That's what you're saying. So, kind of like your mom used to tell you, right? Might as well be nice to everybody, make a lot of friends, because they might be on your team 2 years from now.
Hey, Mike, with the two major brands of this conference, 2 of the major ones going off to the SEC, I was wondering, how does that impact your ability to connect with high school players that you're recruiting, if at all? And just from a branding standpoint, is it harder
You know what's interesting? This generation of young people we're recruiting, Like I have an 18-year-old that just graduated, so I still am kind of in touch with this generation. They don't know as much as you think they know. Like we recruited several players this year, high school players, and a few portal players. They didn't even know we played in a bowl. And if they knew, they didn't know who we were playing. They have so many other things going on with the ability to find information on their phones. It's different than it was years ago. So you could take, let's say, the top 500 players in the country, and you might ask them the same questions, and they would, most of them wouldn't even know what conference some of the schools are in. Like you could say, what conference is this school in? They might not know. You could say, what conference is Notre Dame in? They might say the Pac-12. They might say the ACC. They might not know they're an independent football. That's what's surprising about recruiting nowadays.
Was it at all worrisome to you when you first heard the news? I know you had other things that
Years
you were
ago?
concerned about. No,
Well,
just
what was
when they
years ago,
left.
right? We knew this years ago. So then we needed stability of a long-term television contract so we could fund our athletic departments. Once we solidified that, the new commissioner comes in, gets us through 31 with ESPN and Fox, and we have no worries. We're in good shape.
Coach, is there a benefit in going into camp with an open quarterback competition?
Yes. Yeah, we're going to go through it a couple weeks, halfway through, see where we're at. If there's somebody we feel like that they give us the best chance for early season success, we name it. If not, we don't do it. And I don't really know right now. Like, people think, well, he knows, he's just not saying it. Why wouldn't I say it? I mean, I've said it before in the spring, said it before in the summer. I don't know right now.
But do you feel like it's healthy for development to have them competing in fall camp?
I think competition is healthy. I think that's a great question because I don't know that anybody knows the answer of. The flip side of that is somebody says, okay, does your team have direction and who's their quarterback? Is it productive or not? So I don't know. But I know that if we don't know for sure right now, then we can't name one. So that allows me to make that decision, even though the question you asked is right, and I don't know what's right or wrong from that standpoint.
With Oklahoma and Texas leaving for the SEC next year, you guys have a really unique opportunity to kind of take over in the Big 12. So what's your plan to execute a plan like that to become the new leaders in the Big 12?
I think the remaining schools and even the incoming schools are looking to get a leg up in the conference. And what I said on the stage here earlier is that, you know, there's been a number of teams in this league over the last 5 years that have played at a high level, excluding Oklahoma and Texas. That's just a fact. So I think that we have it there, and I think that the meetings at Oklahoma State and TCU and Kansas State and Texas Tech and UCF we need to be the front runner. What do we need to do to accomplish that? I think what you're saying is right.
Mike, what do you think the makeup of your receiving corps?
Makeup of what?
Receiving corps?
We've got some depth and we've got some experience. We benefited ourselves in the portal. I thought we did a good job of matching what went out in the portal to what we brought in. We'll find out, but I like kind of where we're at depth-wise and maturity-wise. Like I talked about, you know, we brought in a couple mature guys because we had a couple mature guys that left. So I think we're in good shape. We have to stay healthy, but I think we're in good shape.
Who's some of the guys you're looking forward to watching?
At wideout, all of them that can catch a forward pass and score a touchdown, I'm looking forward to enjoying it.
24 months ago, NIL was brand new. Jury's still out on some of it. You've shared your thoughts. 2 years in, where do we stand on all this?
Where do we stand on it now?
And where does it need to get better?
Well, nobody knows. I want somebody in this building that knows where we stand to come tell me. I'm not knocking the question. I'm saying I'm giving an example of nobody knows where we stand. So Congress is involved in this, right? They're the ones that eventually started NIL. So they're involved in it. And we've had some pretty prominent coaches over the last month go to Washington, D.C. and try to make some headway. I haven't heard of anything. I haven't heard of us making up any ground. Maybe we're going to get news within the next couple of weeks. I'm excited about that. I don't think that's happened. We're going into an election year, so that's going to get pushed to the side. That's why I say it's probably going to be somewhat of the wild, wild west up until 25. Maybe they'll get a grasp on it. Maybe there'll be some transparency, some guidelines, some parameters on what actually NIL will be. And if it happens, it'll be driven by the IRS, because the IRS is going to want their part.
And if it's got to wait till 25 and go on like this,
You just go. Nothing we can do about it. I mean, it's this is what the way it is. Nothing you can do about it. Try to do the best you can.
appreciate it, Mike.
You kind of hit on this earlier, but with the transfer portal and players, leaving and stuff like that, do you have to change your development strategy to try and keep those guys engaged?
We can't. And you probably heard me talk about that earlier, that we've made a living developing on players. So we can't just change what we do because we've been good at it. We make minor adjustments, but why change what we've been good at? Because we don't know who's not going to do it. Like some guys that have left on the portal, I would have thought they would have never left. And then some guys that didn't leave, I thought if somebody said you got to make a prediction, I would have thought, yeah, he's leaving or he's leaving. They don't leave. So I've not been good at predicting who will leave. So we can't. Our development has to stay the same. And we hope they stay for all 4 years. And we just know that history tells us probably not going to happen with some of them.
Does recruiting change in any way in that? Are you looking for guys that want to stay at a program longer?
Recruiting's going to change a little bit next year because you won't have as many holdover 6-year COVID guys. Like I just talked about, the 23 and 22 classes, they had a tough go at it because of the pool of COVID guys and the portal. Well, now they're going to move on if the NCAA holds themselves accountable for what we're supposed to do with the 6-year guys. They might not, I don't know. But if that happens, you're going to see a little difference there. But coaches are still going to have an urge to use the portal because they think they can get instant success. A lot of coaches will be concerned with their future, and so they'll say, we need instant success. I don't want to lose my job. Now, that's not the way we're going to do it because I don't believe in that, but you'll see that happen in some places.
So we heard your initial thoughts on stage about Oklahoma leaving, Bedlam coming to an end. But what are the deeper emotions that you and your team are feeling?
What are the what?
Processing? What are like the deeper emotions that you and your team are facing and processing going into this next year, knowing that this is going to be the end of Bedlam?
Yeah, and as I said earlier, it's sad. It's sad that we're having conference realignment, but we control what we can control. Those decisions have been made. Now there's commissioners that are wrestling for teams, trying to, if we ever go to 4, they want theirs to be one of the 4. So that's what we're left with right now. Nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. I don't think so. Because most people that have information, they put it out there. There's not anything out there right now. So conference realignment's going on right now. We just don't know what it is. But it's a sad subject when we end Bedlam over, I don't know, 100 and how many years? 10-ish? It's history, but it is what it is.
What is it going to be like seeing Trace Ford on the other side?
That'll be unusual. This will be a kind of a first time that you play against a guy that, you bring in. We brought Trace Ford in as a developmental guy. He was I don't think he was very highly recruited. He was undersized. We brought him in. We liked his potential. We liked his mobility. We developed him, and had one or two good years for us. And he's been injured the last couple of years, and it'll be different to see him out there. But that's going to happen. I think in the foreseeable future you'll probably see more of that.
Are you even fazed by new teams in the league at this point? You're a veteran.
Fazed?
Yeah, does it matter to you? I mean,
I'm excited about the 4 teams that came in because I think they're very good for our conference. And I think that we were fortunate when a new commissioner kind of finalized everything, and Bowlesby got it started and went out and got them. And I think he deserves some credit because he made good choices on who to go get. Really solid, good moves. A year from now, I don't know if I'd want to be out there trying to find conference realignment schools based on what's important. Geographical location, viewership, population, history of wins in football, those things are all important. And the 4 teams that we got all brought something to the table, or multiple things to the table. So we were very fortunate.
Obviously, you've been asked about Bedlam a lot. Are you ready not to be the spokesman for that series? And
I'm not really the
you're-
spokesman.
Not spokesman, but the one who gets asked about it more than anyone.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like I could have told myself coming down here, don't take any Bedlam questions, don't take any portal questions, don't take any NIL questions. And then what would y'all have done? Y'all would have gone home and said, Coach Gundy's still an asshole. He didn't talk about anything. So I don't mind talking about it, but you hit it on the head. I'll be glad when it's over because I can't change it. Things I can't change, they're not really worth discussing. And when it slides off and goes off, we'll build this conference and they'll be in the SEC. And then 10 years from now, somebody can make a decision whether it was a good move or not. But right now, nobody knows.
Alan Bowman and some of your receivers, they went out to California to get some work in. How beneficial can that be, not only on the field, but off the field for you guys?
Yeah, I don't know the details on that. I was unaware of all that. You're about the third person that had brought that up. I will say that team chemistry and his ability to be able to relate to the team has been good. I mentioned earlier he's older. I think he's 24. That helps him. He has a good personality. I think the players like him. That's been beneficial.